We have a question on the aisle.
My name's Lou Finicaro, and I spent 55 years selling wine when people didn't want to drink it.
I would have been a good buyer for you all those years.
My question is this: in light of the last 12, 15 months of political experience we've had in this country, what can we do to preserve the free enterprise system from the socialistic bent that we have in the office of the presidency and all of the crew that he's surrounded himself with?
I think it's, if we are unhappy with what we are getting today out of Washington, it is our responsibility and it's our commitment at every level in politics to make sure that we're at the poll voting for the person that we think will do the best job of representing the philosophy and the values that our country has been founded on. You might have to, I think you have to do that, number one. Number two, I think within Congress, you can't be taking sides. At the end of the day, we've got a budget that is so astronomical, there's not one person in the world that will look at that budget and say, oh, that makes sense to me. So at some point in time, I think what's got to happen is, and maybe this president is not the right president for this, but we have the president with the normal powers, and then you have the president who's commander-in-chief. I almost think this is such a critical crisis in the future of our country that I think the president almost has to become commander-in-chief to be able to say, we're getting rid of this line item, this line item, this line item, and we're not going to have a big vote on it. This is what we're going to do. We've got to get our expenses down. Now, whether or not we have the president that has that type of expertise to be able to make those types of decisions, I don't know. But there's no question that we better wake up. I think that we're going to have a bigger problem 2-3 years from now.
We have a question here.
My name is Grant Palmer, and I go to Miller North. And I was
just a high school kid. You're definitely getting a grade for this.
I was wondering what trait you find, or what advice you would give to a person like myself, like what key advice?
Yeah, you know what? I've already given that to you when I said spiritual soundness. You're getting ready to go to college. You work hard at the spiritual soundness thing. What do you like? What do you don't like? What are you good at? What aren't you good at? What kind of college best fits that for you? Do you have the aptitude for that college? Then you're going to have to make a decision on a major. And you think the same thing in terms of career path. What are the functions? What are the behaviors that I need in a particular career path to be successful? Do I have those? If you don't have those, that's the wrong career path. If you do have those, then you got to ask yourself another question: is this something I'd really be good at? Because if you don't have the aptitude, and if it's not something you can be passionate about, it'll become a job that'll get dreary over time, as opposed to a career that could be exciting that you can really go after.
Thank you.
Okay.
Well, this has been a remarkable tutorial about leadership, but just as importantly about life. You've gotten an awful lot of awards, honorary doctorate, all kinds of things. I noticed recently one of our local magazines put you on the cover because you received the 2010 Omaha Business Hall of Fame honoree. And the cover of the magazine has the word "one" on it, so it's only fair to ask you you get a chance to make one last comment about anything we've talked about, because you've been immensely generous today. What haven't we talked about that you want to leave this wonderful audience with?
You know, I really think at the end of the day, there have been members of my family or loved ones or colleagues sometimes that have come to me and they're going through a funk. Maybe it's a serious depression, maybe it's not. But I think what happens is sometimes we get a little too absorbed in ourselves. And when I think about love, I think about the power of love as the commitment to the well-being of others. And I think when things are not going particularly well, start to think about other people. Start to recognize that it's about other people. It's not always about you. And I think if that's the attitude that you take, that'll serve you well in life, and it helps you get through a tough time.
Well, and I've certainly been touched by you today. I've learned a lot. I've been touched by your grit, but also by your grace. And I know we all have. Ladies and gentlemen, let's thank Mr. Joe Moglia.
Thank you. Thank you.